Welcome here to more TALKFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, for some more important conversation on the summer transfer window and specifically the future of Robert Lewandowski. What we're going to do today is just have some thinking out loud there when we're talking about Lewandowski, when we're talking about our pursuit of him. But what happens if we can't get him? What happens there if the deal cannot be done? That is why today we're discussing the latest, along with possible alternatives, rumours that we've been hearing in the media, and exactly what Barca's options are for the summer ahead. It is all coming your way, so let's get to it. Because first of all, guys, let me just make it absolutely clear. Barca really do want Lewandowski, and we are still very much in the race for Lewandowski. We've made no secret of that. And of course, the player himself has made absolutely no secret at all of his sheer desire to join Barca this summer. With Barca there set to make their second official bid to Bayern very, very soon indeed. We want to keep that pressure on, and we will continue trying to sign him. But we've got to be honest too, and we have to say that as of right now, we have failed to make any real progress in those negotiations with Bayern Munich. At this stage, they simply refuse to do business. They refuse to even open any sort of dialogue in negotiations, and they fully intend on keeping Lewandowski for one last season. And I do believe right now it is still early days. I still think there's a long, long way to go in this transfer window. We spoke yesterday on the main channel about the fact that if Lewandowski doesn't turn up to pre-season training, will that start to alter their stance? And at this point, I wouldn't rule anything at all out. But at the same time, when you're a huge club like Barca, when we've got massive ambitions, you do need to consider all possibilities. You do need to explore all the eventualities and plan for everything. So, if we can't get him, if when it comes down to it, Bayern refuse to budge and they do not sell, what then for Barca? Because I think one of the very, very big problems that we do have if Lewandowski doesn't join Barca is that, like we said before, in terms of the profile that he is, in terms of the prolific centre-forward that we know he is and the kind of goals that he basically guarantee by joining your club, it is almost impossible. It is so difficult to find anyone else out there quite like him right now. And that's a fact, guys. So you then have to start asking yourself, maybe that if we can't get Lewandowski, you've got to go for a different kind of forward because you can't get what Lewandowski is going to bring. So do you start to think about other things? Gabriel Jesus is a name that often comes up here as an alternative to Lewandowski this summer. We all know that he's going to leave Man City. He's been heavily linked there with a move to Arsenal, maybe as well, Tottenham as well, interested this summer. He would be a different type of forward, like I say, different style there, not necessarily all about the goals and the return that you get in that area, but he can do other things as well. Lautaro Martinez is another name, somebody who over the years we've become very, very familiar with, heavily linked, of course, often with Barca, but you do feel as though into this summer, especially now they've got Lukaku to go alongside him, they'd want huge money for Lautaro Martinez, and that's what I mean here. Not only getting somebody of the quality of Lewandowski, but the fee as well. Many of the players here we're talking about, they are going to command not only similar fees, but actually be much, much more expensive. Of course, though, there is somebody like Alvaro Morata. That is a name that I do just have to mention because obviously Barca were targeting him in January, wanted to try and get him in on loan until the end of the season. That didn't happen at the time. He's now back at Atletico Madrid. Would he become a backup option again for Barca this summer? For me personally, that is not a route that I would be looking to go down. You know, make no mistake about that. And even somebody, by the way, like Luis Suarez, that was somebody who actually appeared in the media this morning. Again, linked to Barca. He's a free agent this summer. We all know his ties to Barca. There have been a few rumours in the media that maybe Barca have spoken to him already about maybe becoming an emergency option if we really did need it, but I think that's very, very premature and I wouldn't read too much into that as of right now. But with all of that said, would you then start to think, okay, maybe not just a different type of forward, different style of forward, but actually a different route entirely in that forward line? Would you then look and say, okay, we've saved money on a transfer fee, we've saved money on wages here, big money from Lewandowski, do you go and spend it on somebody like Neymar. That, again, is a rumour right now that is appearing in the media. He doesn't seem to be part of PSG's plans, their project anymore. They're reportedly open to offers right now for him. He's 30 years old. 5 years on now we are from him leaving Barca for that world record fee of 222 million euros. And at this point, I've kind of become used to Neymar being linked to the club, and still, like with Suarez, I wouldn't read a great deal into that. And you've also got as well Paulo Dybala. This summer, he is a free agent after leaving Juventus. It was widely expected that he'd go on and join Inter Milan, but that hasn't really materialised right now. He's got an offer from Sevilla, a very low offer, it has to be said, and he himself, as a free agent this summer, much in the same way I think actually as Dembele, he's not quite getting the offers that maybe he expected. Reportedly, actually, he offered himself to Barca, but Xavi was not really a fan of making that signing this summer. And I just want to make it absolutely clear here, if we do miss out on Lewandowski, if we can't spend our money there this summer, we have to avoid the mistake that we've made in the past by thinking, okay then, we've got money available, we've got wages available, let's go out and get a big name. Let's bring in somebody there like Neymar, like Dybala, these huge names who, of course, they have quality, but you got to have a plan. And if you don't have a plan to fit these players, to have a place for them in your team, you can't sign them. Because these are not wages that you mess around with. These are not players that you sign just because they're there, just because they're available. Every single player that we target, that we look to bring in, there must be a plan in place to fit them into Xavi's ideas at the club. And that is why I would also make the suggestion there of, if we do miss out on Robert Lewandowski, if we cannot bring him in this summer, do you actually say, okay, we tried, we really made that attempt, but now we'll stick with what we've got. We have Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang right now. Of course, he's 33 years old. Of course, you would be heavily reliant on him. If we didn't get Lewandowski, it would be a case of really putting pressure on him for all of the competitions and all the season that we have ahead of us in that centre-forward position. Of course, he can score goals. We've seen that during his brief time at the club so far, but that would be big pressure. You do have Ansu Fati. You would hope that he would be able to have an injury-free season. He's more than capable of operating down the middle, and even from wider areas, we know that he can chip in with many goals if we can get him out there on the field. And of course, you've got Ferran Torres too, somebody who can operate down the middle if required. We expect more from him. We expect more goals from him next season, and he is somebody too who can chip in when necessary. And I think overall, when you're looking at a conclusion, when you're looking here at exactly what we can expect this summer, what I would say, based on what we've said today, is I can fully understand why Barca are really targeting Lewandowski. I can understand why they feel as though he right now is the perfect fit. Out of all the alternatives you can think about, with all the other options that are out there, for the amount of money that it would cost, it does fit. It is absolutely right that we're targeting him and really make an attempt to get him. But if we can't get him, and this is the important part, like I say, please, let's not waste this money. Let's not just panic and think, okay, we haven't got Lewandowski, so we've got to do something else. You've got to spend it wisely. And you can only spend that money on somebody else who fits this project and fits this team. And if we don't find that, if we can't get that despite all of our efforts, you probably will have to say, we've got options already within the club. And instead of wasting it, instead of going out there and spending it on a big name who doesn't really fit what we're doing here, maybe we stick for now with what we have. So those there, guys, are just some of the thoughts right now that I've been having about this Lewandowski saga. To be honest, Bayern's stance is making me a little bit nervous. I think there's a long way to go, but I think they are being very difficult right now to deal with, which is making our life very complicated indeed. But please do let me know, guys, if you have any other alternative. We've spoken about quite a few today, but if you have somebody in mind who maybe you feel could come in, if we can't get Lewandowski, do you have a backup in mind? Please let me know that down below. And if there is somebody that you would like to see at the club and you feel who can thrive here, please let me know all of those thoughts. I will see you soon, of course. There will be more videos. There will be more news to come. The summer is still young, and I will see you then. But until next time, guys, thank you. As always, Visca El Barça.